First, we need to obtain the software from ISONAS' website. From the home page, click on Support. Then select the Software Downloads link. From here, you can download the Crystal Matrix software and any other supporting manuals or documentation you might need. Once the download is complete, we can begin the installation. Proceed through the installation wizard. You will need to register the software with a name and a company. Please note that if using Windows 7, Windows Server 2007, Server 2008, or Vista, do not install in the file path seen here. Choose whether or not you want to create backups of replaced files, and leave the default components selected. Select a Program Manager group, and begin the installation. Click through any prompts that may pop up. The software has now finished its installation. Please make note of the default administrative password, password. This can be reset within the administrative program. You will be prompted to restart the computer in order to complete the installation. Once PowerNet card readers have been physically installed, we can use the ISONAS plug-and-play program to connect the readers to the network. ISONAS plug-and-play is an installation aid for IP reader controllers. Use the default password, which is password. Verify the IP address of the ISONAS software and click the Find button to search for devices that are communicating with the network. Any connected devices will appear in the list below. Once we have found our reader controllers, we will use the Crystal Access Administrator application to define the system and how it should operate. ISONAS automatically licenses itself for 30 days, but after this time period, you must register your software. Fill in all fields and click Register. A follow-up email will be sent to the registered email address. Now we can log into the Crystal Access System and begin configuring the software. The first step in configuring our system is to add a controller supervisor. Right-click on the controller network object and select Insert. All of the default settings here can remain the same, except for the name. Change the name and click OK. Now we will add a door by right-clicking our newly created controller supervisor and selecting Insert. Give the door a name and input the IP address of the intended card reader. Now we can start the controller supervisor service. We want to see a checkmark and magenta icons on our doors. Click on the Doors button to define a door group. Right-click the door group object and select Insert. Assign a name to the group and click OK. Select a door group and add doors to the group from the list. Create a shift by clicking the Shifts button. Click Insert to add a shift record. Select the days, times, and shift type that apply. Next, we will create a group of people. From the People menu, select Groups. Click Insert and give the group a name. Now click the People button to add people. Click the Insert button under the primary window on the left. Assign a first and last name, then click the Auto Unique ID button. Select a door from the drop-down list located next to the Read From button. Scan a card at the door which was selected and click the Read From button. The card number will populate automatically. Click OK to continue. Now that we have a person associated with a card, it is possible to add an image to that person's profile. Select a person record from the list. On the right, select the Image tab. You can customize images available in the system by pasting image files into the Images subfolder on your ISONAS server. It is now possible to assign an image to a person by clicking Select Image. The image will appear within the window on the right. Next, assign a group to which the selected person belongs, and close this window. Under the Rights menu, select the Permissions submenu. To insert a new item in the Permissions table, choose a group, a shift, and a door or a door group by highlighting them in the three lists on the left-hand side of the screen. Then press the Insert New Permissions button on the right-hand side of the screen. Then click Full under Compile to update the list of authorized badges in the system. In the pop-up window, once the controller supervisor returns to green, the download is complete. You can close the group permission windows. Next, we want to set the doors to host mode. This means that all operations will be fully controlled from the computer. Click Yes to reset the network timeout and click OK. Agree to apply these changes immediately. The door status should change from magenta to blue, confirming that it is running in host mode. Now we will configure the ISONAS Notification Request Server. From the TCP/IP menu, select Configure. The Listener or Basic tab should be the IP address of the ISONAS ACX application server. Start Automatically should also be selected. The Transmitter or Server Connections tab should also be set to the ISONAS application server. Enter 1225 for the port number. You may also enter a name for this connection. Click Save when you are finished. Lastly, from the TCP/IP menu, select Run to start the application. A new window will appear showing the controller status. To ensure proper communication between XProtect and ISONAS, we need to configure firewall exceptions on both servers. We will start by creating an inbound rule on our XProtect server. This will be a port-based rule. Select the TCP radio button and define a specific local port range between 85 to 88. We want to allow all connections, and the rule should apply to all three firewall profiles. Give the new rule a name of your choice and click Finish. Lastly, we will need to restart the Windows Firewall service. Repeat this process for the ISONAS server as well. To add cameras to your XProtect Enterprise system, right-click on Hardware Devices from the Tree menu and select Add New Hardware Device. In this example, we will choose the automatic method. Scan the local network by default, or add additional IP addresses if applicable. Review the list of devices to be added and click Next. Once completed, save the changes to apply them to the system. Before installing the ISONAS plugin, we need to shut down the XProtect Event Server service. In the XProtect Management application, click on Services from the navigation tree and stop the Event Server service. Now we can run the installer. Agree to the terms and continue with the installation. The installation path shown here is correct, although the default may put it one level up in the folder hierarchy. Click Install when ready to continue. After the installation is complete, be sure to restart the XProtect Event Server service. The IM-ACX application can be installed on any server on the network. However, it is normally installed on the server hosting ISONAS Crystal Matrix. You may proceed with the default settings for the installation. Start the ISONAS ACM bridge and click on the Settings tab. Under Milestone ACM, we need to input port number 85 and by remote host, input the IP address of the XProtect management server. Under ISONAS, for the remote host, input the IP address of the INR-serve server and remote port of 7101. Use the default username and password for ISONAS, which is admin and a password. Set the status polling frequency to 20 seconds and ensure that the ISONAS listener port is set to 1225. When finished, click Save and restart the Crystal Access System, the INR-serve server, and the ACM bridge. In the XProtect Management application, right-click on the Access Control object and select Create New. Give the Access Control integration a name and select the plugin from the drop-down menu. Type the IP address of the ISONAS server and use port 85. Input a username and password used for access to the XProtect system. Click Next to continue. Cardholders and readers will be added to the system automatically. Next, we need to associate doors from our access control system with cameras connected to our XProtect system. Drag and drop cameras from the list on the right to the access point on the left. Please note, the XProtect license must be activated in order to complete this step. Ensure the Enabled box is checked and click Next to continue. Upon successful completion of the integration, you must reapply the XProtect license before continuing with system configuration. Right-click on the access control integration that we just created and select Properties. Next, we need to define access control events, which will trigger alarms. From the Event Category drop-down menu next to an access control event, select various categories. Select Alarm if you want to trigger an alarm, and select Error if you want to see a map notification. Next, select Access Control Actions to define various system actions. We can see the default action is triggered by an access request event from any connected door in our system. The action is to display an access request notification in the XProtect Smart Client. Add a new access control action for the triggering event labeled Enable Access Denied, Credentials Not Found, and make this event active on all doors at all times and to display an access request notification. Under Action Details, you may customize the access request notifications behavior in the XProtect Smart Client. Feel free to change any of these settings that you would like. Next, select cardholders to add pictures to users. This should be done automatically in XProtect Enterprise. However, you may edit the images with this functionality. Simply select a cardholder, click the Select Picture button, and choose an image to upload. The last step is to create alarm definitions. From the navigation tree, expand Alarms, right-click on Alarm Definitions, and select Create New. Give the new alarm a name. Under Triggering Event, select Access Control Event Categories from the drop-down menu. Then select Access Denied And lastly, select which doors the alarms will be triggered from. Leave the defaults for the remaining settings and click OK. Be sure to save your configuration changes before opening the Smart Client. Begin by logging into the XProtect Smart Client. Once logged in, click on the Setup button to begin the configuration. Create a new view, and from the System Overview pane, click and drag the Access Monitor link to the desired position in the view. Choose the door you would like to monitor and select additional settings from each of the drop-down menus below. The Access Monitor is only active in live mode. We will review this shortly. Create another new view, and from the System Overview pane, click and drag the Map link to the desired position in the view. Click Browse to upload a map of your choice. From the Map toolbox, select Add Access Control. Expand the options available and add the desired icons to the map based on their physical locations. You may also add cameras to the map. When finished, click the Setup button again to return to live mode. Reboot the Milestone server and reboot the ISONAS Crystal Access server. Once both servers have been restarted and the configuration has been refreshed, log back into the Smart Client and test the integration with card swipes and access denied alarms. The door icon will turn green to signal access granted. Event notifications will pop up in the Smart Client based on our configuration. Red circles will appear around readers based on our access control event settings, signaling an access denied event. We can review the notifications and close the requests when we are done. By selecting the Alarm Manager tab, we can review any alarms that were triggered in our system. By right-clicking and acknowledging an alarm in the list, this will change the state of the alarm and will also remove the blinking red circle from the associated reader on the map. By selecting the Live tab, we can review our previously created views, such as the Access Monitor. You may select one of the Access Monitor events on the right and review the video from the camera associated with the door.